Welcome, age of vintage society. Every great TV show creates its world, as a stage production might, and when you enter its fiction you feel as if it's the only world that exists. The excellent words of beautiful Ellen Burstyn. I'd like to add that every great lady creates its fame just like she did in the entertainment scene with her stylish look that's an embodiment of glamour. Why, no one helped Ellen Burstyn when her husband attacked her. I want you to know, my viewers, how much I appreciate you. Without your support, these videos wouldn't be possible. Thank you for those who hit the thanks button. Ellen Burstyn remains an ideal lady any time, regardless of what you may have heard or read about her. Her exquisite look is more like a screen trademark, and her sophisticated eyes are such that hint at a woman that knows her onions. You don't need to contemplate her face in movies. She is peculiar and easily recognizable as soon as her lively look lights up the screen. Of course, she has been one of my favourite actresses. Why? I simply fell in love with her spirited nature, which she exhibited on and off the screen. Interestingly, like most glamorous Hollywood ladies, her private life is highly eventful, but her die-hard attitude continued to spur her on amidst a love life full of trust, disappointment and betrayal. Her special approach to life and career has enabled her to effectively manage and live above the kind of disrepute that might have limited her talent. Another interesting thing that inspires me about this beautiful lady is her hobbies in life, the way she lives, and her love for animals, especially her dogs. Some time ago I had an opportunity of visiting actress Ellen Burstyn's Hudson Valley home, where I saw an entire wall covered with nomination certificates. The mood suggested she had no award yet, but that was not the case at the time, because then she had been given the New York and National Film Critics Awards for The Last Picture Show. At the time she was an Oscar nominee for The Picture Show and The Exorcist. Burstyn's boisterous, fun-filled entertainment career would excite and inspire generations of movie lovers. I still recall seeing a black-and-white close-up portrait of Marilyn Monroe in her apartment. The photos seem to have been taken sometime in the 1960s. Monroe is one of the actresses Ellen adored so much and may have gotten inspiration from her. Although the two never met, Ellen respected her because she thought Monroe had what she described as scary fame, which she said exposed her to anxiety and vulnerability. Ellen did not have Monroe's kind of fame, but she is sure a name to be reckoned with in Hollywood for her immense contribution and corresponding recognition. Born Edna Ray Gillooly, Ellen Burstyn will be mostly remembered for her depictions of sophisticated women in plays. She is no doubt one of the finest American actresses of a kind. She is one of the few performers to achieve what critics call the Triple Crown of acting, Oscar, Tony and Emmy Awards. Michigan-born daughter of Corinne Marie and John Gillooly in 1932, but her acting career began in earnest sometime in 1955. Ellen Burstyn talks of her ancestry as a mix of Irish, French, Pennsylvania Dutch and a little Canadian Indian. Her parents severed their marriage with a divorce in the early part of her life, which saw young Ellen and her brothers residing with their mother and stepfather after her mother remarried. While in university preparatory Cass Technical High School, Burstyn had her eyes set on entertainment. Though majoring in fashion illustration, she soon became an executive of the student council and president of its theatre club. Fortunately, she had to say goodbye to academics after ditching high school because she failed her senior year exams, as that move marked the beginning of a new chapter in her life. Young, beautiful and talented Ellen found a way of expressing her dancing skills as she became a dancer with the name Kerry Flynn. Her beauty was shockingly captivating, so it was a matter of time before she joined modelling. That aspect of her entertainment career kept her busy until she was 23. And I guess she was also eyeing Hollywood fame. By the time she relocated to Dallas, it was more modelling work as she worked steadily on several fashion-related jobs before shifting her attention to New York City. Ellen, 1955, became the Away We Go dancing girl on the Jackie Gleason show under another name, this time Erica Dean, and about a year later she was fully ready for Hollywood and quickly took the stage name Ellen McRae, which later adjusted to Ellen Burstyn after marrying Neil Burstyn, and the stage was set for her exploit. The first time she entered matrimony was in 1950, when she got smitten by handsome Bill Alexander. The 7 years' marriage had its challenges, and the couple weathered the storm until they thought otherwise and decided to go their separate ways in a 1957 divorce. A few months after, young Ellen fell in love with Paul Roberts. They too later adopted a son in 1961, but that could still not save the marriage from imminent collapse, and months after they took an oath to foster a child, their marriage was over. When Ellen married actor Neil Burstyn, she was quoted as saying he was charming and funny and bright and talented and eccentric, though schizophrenia caused him to be violent. That union had a lot of tales, including the one leg in and one leg out affair. Even when everyone thought it was over, they found a way to reconcile, but it eventually ended in 1972, though that was not the end of the story. The violent nature of their relationship continued even after the temporal separation. All attempts to shove him off her way proved abortive. Interestingly, the socially imbalanced Neil had to devise an ugly means of getting back at her for a reason best known to him. If what Ellen wrote in her memoir, Lessons in Becoming Myself, is anything to go by, Neil stalked her for nearly 6 years after they were separated. And when he could not get her eyes, he broke into her house and had an unconsented encounter with her. And painfully, no legal case was ever instituted against him, because the incident was not yet a crime at the time. Recall that spousal forceful entry was not a crime until the recent amendment that barred such action. Neil died in 1978, an incident that Ellen's fans describe as a good riddance to bad rubbish in the life of their much-admired lady icon. Her life and career in Hollywood as a screen character are such that ensured steady success and fame. The reason she described her experience as an actress as a happy type. In her words, she has been treated pretty well. The Exorcist prodigy acknowledged she has benefited so much from Hollywood. While disputing a few regrettable situations she had to encounter in the system, Ellen maintained that she ran into more unpalatable situations before changing from modelling to acting. She was reacting to her abuse scandal that shocked Hollywood gossip media. As a beautiful lady in the predatory Hollywood arena, Ellen had a share of what she said was a couple of experiences. The people she labelled a couple of dumb guys gave her a job in the early part of her acting career. Fans thought she was more respected as a model, but she says it has its ugly tell too. In all segments of the entertainment scene there are always bad eggs. As a young model between 19 and 20 years old, she still recalls how she had to grapple with similar issues, but thankfully she was able to pull through against all odds. On the typecast that made her famous, Ellen hinted that she wanted to challenge certain powerful concepts on screen, with her talent specifically, to ensure that women weren't just depicted as cool girls or portrayed as victims. She came in to portray the female folk as heroes because that's what she thought they are. After seeing several roles where women were either villains or stay-at-home wives, while their husbands are made heroes that preserved humanity, it did not go down well with her. Unlike most beautiful actresses, Ellen never wanted her career success to come from her looks, rather it should be based on her skills and spirited effort. Even though Ellen Burstyn had all the qualities to excel with her beauty in Hollywood, she told fans that looks can be deceptive, and it does not last long. So as someone who needed an enduring career, it occurred to her that it would be better not to rely on physical appearance. So at the initial time she went to Lee Strasberg and studied the art of acting before coming into the industry proper, and at her age she could feel fulfilled because she is still actively serving the industry. Her age-long efforts have given her the comfortable life she is living at the moment. A recent encounter with Ellen and the impression on me is quite remarkable. What I saw of her home tells me a lot about this wonderful lady. Every corner of the apartment was images that would remind you of her experiences as a performer, a mother, and a happy grandma. Of course you would not miss her talent as an arts administrator and a producer. If you have ever watched one of her hit movies or the cult classics, you will better appreciate her talent. The Last Picture Show, The Exorcist, Requiem for a Dream, plus The Fountain and Interstellar readily come to mind. After winning an Oscar for her 1974 role in Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, Ellen's character was at its climax as she took home another great recognition for her role in the original 1975 run of Same Time Next Year, talking about the Tony Award. Admiringly, Burstyn had been a remarkable educator and an expert figure in the life of many actors and playwrights, and she has continued to inspire generations as a notable filmmaker. Having served as co-president of the Actors Studio, she has been bestowed a lifetime member. That is the story of this rare genius of a lady. Ellen Burstyn kept a pet dog, and she is very fond of those little creatures. Zoe is one of her dogs, a 16-year-old animal that almost died at the age of 12 because of a heart condition, but for the quick intervention by Ellen, who ensured that the animal took the prescribed pills until full recovery was guaranteed. I'm not sure if that dog is still with her, though she spoke passionately about the declining health of the dog. She has always had a pet dog. I've had all different kinds, she said, including male, female, small and large. Zoe happened to be one of her smallest dogs so far. She preferred the smaller-sized dogs so she could easily travel along with them. But because of age, she travels less this time around, and it's telling on the dog that enjoys every trip they made together. At the time, she equally had a plan of a caretaker for Zoe in case she is gone. On how she entered into the entertainment industry from modelling to acting, Ellen once recalled the first time she appeared on stage. It was while she was in boarding school in Canada, around 6 years of age. What did she do? She recited Little Miss Muffet. While on stage, she heard a lady's voice saying, "Isn't she cute?" How she wished her mother heard the comment. "I thought and hoped my mother heard that," she was quoted, a memory she held and continued to cherish for a long time. It was an inspiring moment in her life. Of course, she has always been a showgirl from childhood, appearing at any event that meets her fancy in high school shows, even when she was asked the question, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" She still recalled suggesting modelling as a possible career path, plus acting or being a nun. And behold, she began modelling for the Detroit department store J.L. Hudson when she turned 18. Ellen said soon after she discovered her sexuality and realized that nun wasn't the right option for her, she immediately went into modelling, before a later switch to acting. She started telling everyone that cares to listen then that, "I'm going to do a Broadway play this fall," and soon headed to Broadway plays. Full of confidence, she had made a contact through a secretary to an agent and got auditioned for a role of a model. She became a lead on Broadway, even though it was her first time on the New York stage, Ethel Barrymore Theatre, in the play Fair Game. Ellen Burstyn is indeed a great lady, having gone through several ups and downs in the entertainment scene and emerging victorious. She is no doubt someone you can take a cue from. One of her lowest moments in life was her issues with her ex-husband, which she has also talked passionately about. On the day of that unfortunate incident, she called the police and informed them of how Neil had broken into her house, even though they were separated but not legally divorced. She had gotten a disappointing response from the constables when they asked her, "But you're still married?" to which she said yes. They let her understand that no crime has been committed, though what happened between them was against her will. Despite the agony and suffering she went through while Neil was remanded in a mental institution, taking care of her son and herself without any support, yet she was treated like someone without a right just because she is a woman. Even a car insurance company refused to change the name of the insurance on the family car to her name, even though her husband was incapacitated at the time. All that added together to mould Ellen Burstyn into an independent lady that she later became while she pursued her acting career. Burstyn, who grew up as a Catholic faithful, is now devoted to her faith that is connected to several religious beliefs. "I am a spirited opening to the truth that lives in all of these religions," she was quoted as saying. Ellen Burstyn's story would not be complete without careful mentions of her numerous television movies that made her more famous and added to her enduring legacy. Worthy of mention is her performance in 1980, Resurrection, and How to Make an American Quilt in 1995, just to mention. Ellen Burstyn had a traumatic experience, but why Jenny Maxwell's case made the police crazy. Watch this video now.